The term culture originates from the Latin word cultivate. Communities are generally made up of people who share cultural characteristics. These cultural characteristics are defined by various influences, including geographical, spiritual, and agricultural considerations. Certain cultures impose distinct limitations or boundaries that make them unique. The purpose of this program is to introduce you to the most interesting and unique cultures from around the world. Jerusalem, a city of three religions. Come with us to witness living rituals and be dazzled by ancient wisdom. We will visit the enchanting cities of Safed and the port of Jaffa, where wonderful history and cuisine are the order of the day. From Jerusalem, the Kingdom of Bahrain lies on the opposite side of the Arabian Peninsula. What Bahrain may lack in size, it more than makes up with its rich history, sought-after pearls, traditional crafts, and its oil industry. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Thus the creation of all, according to the Old Testament. The ancient Hebrews believed that here, on Mount Moriah in Jerusalem, God took a handful of clay and created the first man, Adam. Jerusalem has become one of the holiest places for modern Jews, Christians, and Arabs alike. The first Jewish temple was built here. Jesus Christ lived here. From Jerusalem, the prophet Muhammad was said to have ascended to heaven, where he met Allah and the other prophets. The name of the city originates from the Hebrew word Yerushalayim, meaning the city of peace. Jerusalem remains true to its name. Followers of different religions live here in peace, respecting each other's beliefs. Everything in Jerusalem seems to abide by ancient hereditary laws. The people inherit their beliefs from their ancestors. Some live in houses that were built by their predecessors hundreds of years ago. The historical areas are able to be impeccably preserved due to the dry climate and responsible conservation. The faithful from all over the world brought their various traditions to Jerusalem, creating a wealth of architectural and cultural experiences. The bazaars are living proof of such influence and cultural tolerance among the people. Ironically, although located in the Arab part of the city, it is one of the holiest places in Christianity. It was right here that Jesus walked to Golgotha carrying a cross. The world-renowned Way of the Cross attracts a great many modern pilgrims, all wishing to walk the 2,000-year-old road Jesus took to his sacrifice. The Way of the Cross is a place of great importance for Christians. Pilgrims wishing to bear the symbol of their faith often rent crosses to enhance their experience. Enterprising tourist guides always have a few crosses handy so that each pilgrim can have his turn. En route to Golgotha, the procession stops for prayers at specific spots described in the Bible. One of these places is where Jesus collapsed a second time under the weight of the cross. The modern pilgrimage terminates on Golgotha, the place of the final exhalation of Jesus. A Christian temple stands on this once bare hill, and the pilgrims come here to pray at the tomb of Jesus. the place still has a mystical air that evokes sanctity and humility. Despite the many visitors and the frequent clicks of camera shutters, Golgotha remains a place of prayer and reflection. Most Christian denominations are represented on Golgotha, even though they often encounter mutual disagreement. During the Ottoman Empire, the keys to this temple were entrusted to a Muslim family to lessen the disputes over the rights to this holiest of Christian places. Omar, whose family for 200 years has served as the doorman, comes each night to lock the temple and returns again at dawn to open it. Once the sun sets, the inhabitants of the city come out to play. Music rules in the city streets. Jerusalem never sleeps. The ambience of the city seems intoxicating, and the romantic narrow streets provide an unmistakable spirit and an unforgettable experience. People from Judea first appeared near Jerusalem around the year 960 BC, when King Solomon built the first temple. The Judaic traditions are even older. Here, we are following the preparations for one such tradition, the holiday of Sukkot, in the Jewish neighborhood of Mea Shearim. The holiday of Sukkot celebrates the Feast of Tabernacles. It is intended as a reminiscence of the type of fragile dwellings in which the Israelites dwelt during the Exodus. Jews erect outdoor booths close to their houses. They are expected to eat and sleep in the sukkah. In the cities, the sukkah is put up on the balconies. They are constructed in such a way so as to leave an opening in the roof between the palm leaves through which they can observe the sky. On each day of the holiday, family members hold a fruit and a bundle of fauna in their hands and recite a blessing. In one hand, they hold an esrog, which symbolizes the heart. In the other hand, they hold a bundle containing a palm branch, meant to represent the human backbone, a twig of myrtle, meant to represent the eyes, and a willow branch, which represents the mouth. These four items are swung in the four compass directions, recognizing that God is the ruler of all. The faithful take great pains to select the best of these items. It is Friday evening. The streets of Mea Shearim quiet down. Though the Sukkot holiday has come to an end, Friday night marks the beginning of the Jewish Sabbath. The western wall of the destroyed Temple of David is the epicenter of Jewish spiritual life. It is said that all prayers pass through this wall to God. It is said that the Spirit of God, known as the Shekinah, is never far from the western wall. Regardless of where the Jews are, even throughout the diaspora, the Shekinah is found right here. And because the Shekinah is here, every single Jew in the world dreams of praying here. For this reason, it is called, in many languages, the Wailing Wall. The Wailing Wall has become an important symbol for the Jewish faith. For just one day each year at the wall, boisterous dancing and celebrations take the place of prayers. The holiday of Simchat Torah, the celebration of the Torah, has just begun. The Torah is the holy book which contains what is called the 5 books of Moses, or what the rest of the world calls the Old Testament. Throughout each year, synagogues will read it section by section from beginning to end. The celebration of Simchat Torah starts on the day that one cycle of the reading ends and another one begins. The faithful take little cases containing handwritten selections from the Torah to the streets and, through dance, express their love for the Torah. In the mountains of Upper Galilee, over 100 kilometers to the north of Tel Aviv, lies the city of Safed. It is considered to be one of the holy cities of Judaism, with uninterrupted Jewish settlements. According to a legend, one of Noah's sons, Shem, established Safed just after the Great Flood. It is a fact that it became well known as the center of Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah in the 16th century, when the learned Sephardic Jews started arriving from Spain. Local synagogues served not just as houses of worship, but historically also as the centers of social gatherings. The interior order of a synagogue is not determined by law. However, the ark containing the Torah must be placed so that when the congregation faces it, they are facing east, towards the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The word for a synagogue in the Yiddish language is shul, which translates to school or study hall. Each day, thousands of books containing the collective wisdom of past generations are pored over by dedicated scholars. In Judaism, religious texts provide a moral guide to life. While the Torah is considered the most important body of text, over thousands of years, other bodies of work, like the Talmud, provide various interpretations of that found within the Torah. This helps explain the wealth of opinion found in Judaism. Many Jews know by heart various passages found in the Torah. Then, when the appropriate circumstance presents itself, they are able to recite as required. Prayers are an integral part of everyday life, including the preparation of a traditional meal. For this occasion, what's called for is the singing of an entire passage. Napoleon Bonaparte, as well as the Turkish and British armies, cherished the port of Jaffa because of its strategic importance. As a city, Jaffa has expanded so much that it has been swallowed up and become a suburb of neighboring Tel Aviv. The population of 50,000 is 2/3 Jewish and 1/3 Muslim. By comparison, the streets of Jaffa are much quieter than busy Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. The pace of life here is more conducive to quietly reflecting on the rich history of the place and its people. The restaurant Dr. Shakshuka should be at the top of anyone's to-do in Jaffa list. The restaurant's name has nothing to do with the owner's name. The name relates to what's served here: eggs. Eggs are and have been an extremely important source of protein in desert environments. Shakshuka is made from eggs, tomatoes, spices, and sometimes meat. It should come as no surprise that shakshuka translates to all mixed up. Other traditional dishes are available in this restaurant, be they of Jewish, North African, or Arabic cultural origin. The owners are proud to offer international cuisine. They come from Libya and bring their North African and Arabic cultures to the Jewish community. Good food aside, those interested in biblical history find Jaffa a must-visit. The Church of St. Peter was built here in the mid-17th century to commemorate the miracle whereby St. Peter revived the deceased Tabitha. The church was built to dominate the coastline and can be seen by each passing ship. Visiting Jerusalem, Safed and Jaffa compels you to appreciate ancient pilgrimages and religious values as you make your way in the 21st century. Now we will cross the Arabian Peninsula in order to enter the Kingdom of Bahrain. The Kingdom of Bahrain is made up of 33 islands that lie to the south of the Persian Gulf. The surface area of the largest of these islands is just 990 square kilometers. It's seen the footprints of New Babylonians, Persians, and Arabs. Bahrain was once colonized by the Portuguese and then by the British. Bahrain only gained its independence in 1971. During their occupation, the Portuguese settled in an expansive ancient fortress. The nearly 3,000-year-old structure was used as an army base which, along with the view from the port, allowed for the control of the ship movements in the Persian Gulf. The local population has always been considered progressive. Not only is Bahrain of strategic importance by way of its location, it is a wealthy land that has always been open to forward thinking. The skyline of its capital city, Manama, is shaped by many modern skyscrapers, the construction of new homes standing proximate to historical mosques, and the absence of dusty roads speaks of Manama's commitment to its infrastructure. The royal family, which encourages financial investment in the country, is the energy behind the real estate boom. The result would make New York proud. High-rise bank buildings standing alongside traditional mosques. One can sense the overall relaxed air of a country experiencing its golden age. Soon after oil was discovered beneath the island of Bahrain in 1932, modernization started to take Bahrain by storm. The oil industry of Bahrain produces 43,000 barrels of oil per day. The oil production generates a living for tens of thousands and is the foundation of the modern Bahrain economy. Almost 2/3 of all the oil produced is consumed by Bahrain's populace. This includes the black gold from the legendary Oil Well No. 1, which is still operational after 80 years. The remaining third is put on the open oil market. Sales from these exports guarantees Bahrain's rich present and promising future. The better part of the islands are covered by desert. This lack of natural resource causes the population to live concentrated in the cities. Daytime temperatures reach well above 35 degrees Celsius. When evening approaches, the air cools down. It's time for the evening meal, and the streets come alive. Traditional kebab stands open up, mutton meat with vegetables wrapped in flat pita bread. It's the Middle East version of fast food. Social life unfolds on the streets in open-air cafeterias and tea houses. The locals may discuss politics or the latest domestic gossip, all while smoking water pipes and indulging in a game of dominoes. Dominoes came to the Arab world from China. It eventually caught on in Europe and America. But in Arab countries, it reached the zenith of its popularity. The rules of dominoes have remained more or less constant. Throughout history, pearls have been Bahrain's most important export commodity. The economic importance of pearls has been usurped by oil wells and Japanese synthetic pearl production. The pearls of Bahrain are still considered to be the most beautiful in the world. In Bahrain, fresh water that flows into the Sea of the Gulf causes the pearls to take on a pinkish hue. The skilled hands of the jewelers use these to create world-famous pieces of art. A pearl sits atop a monumental fountain built to symbolize the 6 states of the Persian Gulf. Oil and pearls generate tremendous business activity, but one cannot overlook the ancient traditional crafts passed on from generation to generation. Pottery has a 3,000-year tradition in Bahrain. In a country where fresh water is a prized commodity, the clay amphora was the only way to keep water for several days. A special pure clay is used to make an amphora. This unique clay also holds the artifact together for a long time and dries to a smooth surface on which it is easy to apply paint. The amphora from Bahrain has been made in the same manner for hundreds of years, long before Bahrain ever knew about the use of oil. From its stormy past, replete with occupiers and other uncertainties, from the early part of the 20th century on, Bahrain is a country destined for great prosperity. At once, Bahrain enjoys the benefits of the modern world while keeping sight of the past that formed it. Bahrain remains self-reliant, confident, wealthy, and independent. Simply put, Bahrain is the real pearl of the Persian Gulf. Today, we have discovered 2 entirely different faces of the Arabian Peninsula. The next episode will be just as interesting. We will continue our quest to discover unusual culture. We will go to Crimea, which lies between Russia and the Ukraine, where the Crimean Tatars live. Then we'll travel to faraway New Zealand to uncover the mysteries of the Maori civilization and let ourselves be carried away by the beauty of the ancient Haka dance.